What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, we are going to be talking about why video games are BS for men, because once again, that is ultimately who this channel is designed to help. And I know, this one's gonna sting. A lot of people are not going to like this video, but if you are somebody who has a knee-jerk reaction and says, "Oh, Brandon, how can you say that? I'm turning off the video," then you're probably the exact person that needs to listen to this video. Because I'm not ultimately telling you what you want to hear. I'm telling you what you absolutely need to hear as a man. I'm not here to pull punches on this channel. I'm not going to try to smooth things over. I'm not going to try to make it seem like this is totally fine and it's something that we should just roll over on. At the end of the day, I'm going to be targeting TV, video games, movies, if you're somebody that watches a ton of movies, and even sports. I'm going to call out the people that are constantly sitting there on Sunday afternoons watching a football game for like 6 hours, okay? Watching sports all freaking week, watching other men perform insane acts of athleticism while you're sitting on your couch eating Doritos, drinking beer, and ultimately in a passive state. So every single one of these things, watching TV, playing video games, watching movies, watching sports, puts you into a passive state. Now, what I really want to get across in this video is that the first sin of man was passivity. All right? It was not eating the fruit. It was ultimately standing passively by and not enforcing God's commands in the Garden of Eden. When the serpent was tempting Eve, man stood there. Man was given dominion over the garden. And he failed. He failed miserably. You know, I'll tell you exactly what it should have looked like in the garden. Adam should have basically been like, who the fuck is this talking snake that's chatting up my wife, telling her to do what my creator told her and I not to do? He should have grabbed it like this, and then, you know that awesome statue where like the man is like grabbing the serpent and he's got like a rock or something up here like ready to crush its head? That's exactly what should have gone down. But it didn't, all right? He let it happen. He then even ate the fruit, committed the disobedience, and then here you are, thousands and thousands of years later, and you can't stop beating off, watching porn, all because Adam decided to be passive and let his woman get talked to by a freaking serpent in the garden. That is how passivity has negatively impacted your life, all right? And now you are getting into a passive state, doing all of these other things. And we are going to ultimately talk about what you need to understand here, okay? Because I know I can come off as a little bit harsh, but I want you to understand that playing video games and watching entertainment, it's not inherently wrong. There's nothing inherently sinful about it, but most people use it as a way to relax, to unwind. And before you do this in the future, what I want you to do is I want you to think, before you start doing this, before you let yourself go into a passive state, I want you to think about this. What have I done today that was so difficult that I deserve to be able to turn off my brain, okay, and relax? Because for some reason in today's society, we've all convinced ourselves that we just deserve to be able to relax every once in a while. That we deserve just to be able to like sit back and just bum out and just be lazy sacks of shit, okay? That is not the case. Do you really deserve this? I want you to ask yourself that question. Next time it's a Tuesday night and you're deciding that you're going to play video games or watch TV for a couple hours. Do I deserve this? Is this really what I need? Is this really what you need? Have you hit your workout that day? Have you progressed forward in your finances and your career? Okay, have you been active in your career? Did you ask for a raise today? Did you ask for more responsibility? Have you learned something new today? New information? People get so stagnant, it's ridiculous. Have you practiced a skill? There are so many skills that you can learn that are going to help your finances in your career. Have you been eating what you're supposed to be eating? Have you been staying on top of your nutrition? Because this is what I really want you guys to understand. If you are not doing these things, if you are not being active in progressing your life forward, you are not allowed to complain, okay? And yet today, in today's society, men have no problem sitting in passivity almost the entire day. At their jobs, they don't even work hard. They're just there to collect a paycheck. And then they go home to sit on the couch and watch TV in a passive state literally all day, convincing themselves that, oh, I deserve this time to myself. I deserve some time to relax. And then they also think that they have a right to complain about these things. To complain about, oh, I'm so out of shape. I don't feel very good. I kind of feel like crap. I don't know why I have a headache. I wonder why, dude. They complain about being broke. You sit there and you're like, oh, these other people are rich because, they were born into it. I wasn't born into a rich family. That's not me, bro. That's not my path. And then you shit on people that are in better financial situations than you are, and you say that you were just You weren't born into a rich family, and that's why. That's why. It's not because your lack of work ethic. It's not because you're, being a lazy bum. No. It's other people's fault. It's because you weren't born into a specific situation. People complain about being depressed. They say, oh, I'm depressed and I'm anxious. If you are doing this, if you are playing video games, if you are sitting in passivity, you are not allowed to complain. Okay? You are not using your time effectively. There are so many things that you can be doing as a man in your life. Why are you trying to make progress in a game when your IRL character, your in real life character, is still on level fucking 1? Why are you trying to progress in the game? All right? Living with your parents. If you're living with your parents, you should not be playing video games ever. You got shit to do, my man. You got shit to do. Like, you're 18 years old. Like, oh, you think that you have until you're 22 before you can finally drink, then you ultimately become a man? No, you're a man at 18 years old. You need to start getting your stuff together. You're sitting there, you're smoking weed, you're trying to escape, you're drinking, all of these different things. It's what I call the Peter Pan effect. Okay, these boys don't want to grow up. These boys don't want to become men. And the video games, the porn, the entertainment, it's all playing into this. Men need to start growing up sooner, all right? Ask yourself these questions. Do you know how to fight? Do you know how to fix a car? Do you know how to shoot a gun? If the answer is no, you probably have better things to be doing, all right? Think about your future kids. Think about the future family that you want to have, that you expect to have, that society has told you that you deserve to have, and yet you think that you can kind of sit there and do what you're doing right now when you haven't developed any of the skills that you're going to be able to pass on to the next generation in order to be a good father, in order to be a good role model. Think about your future situation. Think about your family. Number 4, less social interaction comes from playing video games, okay? And what does that do? Well, it creates more losers, all right? More anxiety, more depression equals more people getting diagnosed with things equals more medication, equals more diagnoses, equals more anxiety, equals more depression. And it's a vicious cycle that just continues to repeat itself. All right? We need more social interaction. Please stop playing video games when you haven't talked or had a productive conversation with more than 3 people that day. Like, people won't even talk to their parents, their friends, their family in an entire day, and they think they can sit down and just play video games at the end of the day. And then they love to sit there and complain and they say, I have no friends. They play the victim. They say, I have no friends. That's why I'm depressed. Nobody likes me. Understand this. Working out is 1.5 times more effective than therapy or the leading medications. 1.5 times more effective. Why do you think God made it that way? Why do you think God made it that way? Well, I'll tell you why. God made it that way because in our DNA, how He created us, we were made to push ourselves. We were made to push to the next level in real life, not in the video game. That's why working out, bettering your body is 1.5 times more effective than therapy or the leading medications, okay? Please keep that in mind. Number 5, I want you to make sure that every single day you are working towards these 5 things. Your fitness, improving your finances, your faith, your relationship with God, your family, and number 5, your intelligence, guys. It is something that so many people neglect as soon as they get out of school. Learning doesn't end at the end of your schooling, at the end of your education, all right? It doesn't stop when you get out of college. Oftentimes, life is ultimately what is going to teach you the most lessons. But it's hard to learn lessons from life when you're not living it. It's hard to learn lessons from life when you're so distracted, when you're doing other things. And a lot of you guys say, but I love video games so much. Please, take a step back. Look at your life from a third-person perspective. Understand how easy we have it in today's society, but at the same time, how rampant things like anxiety, depression, meaninglessness, unaliving yourself, those things are more common than ever. Do you see a correlation here? You should be working towards something. You should be pushing yourself. At the end of the day, do not spend too much time in this passive state. God wants you moving. God wants you working. And most of you guys aren't even working when you're working. Most of you guys are letting life pass you by. You're not being active. You're not asking for the raise. You're not asking the girl out. You're not being proactive. That is my message for you guys today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you drop a like down below. And also, in the comments section down below, drop a singular thumbs up in the comments section. If you completed this video all the way through, I want to be able to see how many of you guys out there actually have attention spans, and that it gives me a little bit of hope every time I see one of those thumbs up comes through, because I remember, okay, there is somebody else out there whose attention span hasn't completely been fried by short form content. And so I appreciate that you guys are watching this. I hope that this video made sense to you. I hope that you can take it and ultimately apply it to your life. And I will see you guys all in the next one.